So, OK, why, oh, why did they ban rifle ranges inside pubs in Birmingham? Yes.
Was it common sense?
You'd think so, but no, that wasn't the reason.
Price of ammunition.
No. We're talking about the early 20th century, when it suddenly became very important to have soldiers who were good at firing rifles. Why was that?
Because of the war.
The Boer War,
right.
Exactly. And so they started having rifle ranges in pubs.
Adds a new dimension to getting around in, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And Birmingham was the very centre of the world's gun-making, you know, BSA and other such rifle companies. And so all these pubs would have rifle ranges inside the pubs, sometimes literally inside. You'd fire over the heads of customers at targets. But they banned it. And I want to know the reason why they banned it.
Well, not just because there's an accidental death or something.
No. No, the answer is not what you might say today, which is health and safety. It was another more puritanical reason, in a way.
Either that picture's been mocked up or they are really casual, those days.
No, they still exist. There are still pubs with rifle ranges in them. In Devizes and Oswestry and places like that, they actually have pubs that still have rifle ranges. There's one there. You pull away the centre part of the bucket and there's a tunnel and you fire through it, there's a target at the end.
Somewhere in the world there's a giant dog with stitches in his neck looking for that.
A very small neck.
Yeah.
Because people were gambling on it.
Yes, Dave Gorman, you're absolutely right. That's the weird thing about Britain then. They didn't care about the fact that live rounds were being fired over people's heads. It was the fact that it caused gambling.
Is that why they introduced the curtain over the scoreboard?
Yes, probably. To hide
Is that the British version of a speakeasy?
Yeah.
That's what a beautiful curtain it is, and immaculately measured.
But one Worcester pub, until quite recently, you would shoot from a bar across a passageway and into an outhouse. And some teams still shoot in the open bar. We've got Swindon, Devizes, Newport, Hinckley, Nuneaton, Worcestershire, still have pubs with rifle ranges in them. There you are. Isn't that quite interesting?
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably more than we were hoping for. Otherwise it'd be called VI. It's only quite interesting.
They did try to ban darts at one point because of gambling as well, because it was deemed a game of chance. And I think it was in Leeds, and it went to the magistrate, and the landlord of a pub who wanted to keep his dartboard brought in the sort of local expert and made him play and demonstrate that it was actually a game of skill, because it was just seen, the idea was you were just sort of hitting the board like a fairground sort of game,
right.
and it was whatever you happened to hit was your score, and it was well done you were lucky. And then he came along and hit a few treble 20s when asked, and they sort of proved it was a game of skill.
Oh, that's very good. There are lots of pub games, of course. I'm sure you played pub games in your time. You may be familiar with some of them.
Too busy drinking.
Of course. But see if you can explain the rules of milking crommock, Hankin canst abide it, or laugh and lie down.
Laugh and lie down, that is a box full of Rohypnol.
No. No. That's
I think we'd cover those anyway.
yeah,
Well, milking crommock, I would have thought that's a card game.
well, we know that Laugh and Lie Down and Hannekin Can't Abide It were card games.
Oh,
but
so I managed to get the only one that isn't a card game.
Yes. Well, possibly, because the time has now passed. But, oh, just in time. Nobody knows is the answer. Nobody knows. Yes.
Nobody knows.
Extra points for Dave. The fact is, we only know these games exist because they're on lists of games that have been banned. So that there is statute that says it is illegal to play Milking Crommock, Hannekin Canst Abide It, or Laugh and Lie Down. And all you can do as a games historian is look at it and try and work out. But there is some evidence that those were card games.
That's brilliant. I love the idea of a barman just going, "Hey, are you playing Milking Crommock?" No.
But there are some we do know.
Two blokes running down the pub with just one card going.
Obviously, there are dice and card games and dominoes, but there were games called Guile Bones, Noddy Board, Penny Prick, Hide Under Hat.
Hide under hat, that'd be a great game. I like it because it's self-explanatory.
It is really.
You need
It is.
a massive hat or a small person in your way.
Both, really.
Yeah.
But in 1938, a priest wrote to the Times complaining that there was a pub where they had on the billiard tables tortoise races with little toy jockeys on top. And
It's the jockeys that makes it lovely,
I know, it's so sweet.
Should have used giant tortoises and real jockeys.
Well, they shouldn't they? If only they had. That was in Weymouth. Competitive smoking was very popular.
Oh, come on.
well, see if you can... there you are.
It's a bit smug.
Yeah.
He's the champion.
It still exists. It still exists. You obviously now have to do it in an outside place or a smoking shelter. But who would win a smoking competition?
I guess the first person to finish the pipe.
No, the last person to finish the pipe. It's keeping the pipe alight for longest.
Oh,
it's like a
real
polo
skill.
meat competition.
It's how you pack the tobacco into the pipe and then how few puffs you take at it so you don't burn it down.
And you're telling me this
for hours.
And this didn't become a televised sport?
I know, it's shocking, isn't it? I know. Terribly exciting. But it still exists. Yeah, competitive smoking.
Wow.
So there are other games we can think of, and there was an ancestor of darts, you may be familiar with, a Belgian game called Oise-Piquet in the French Belgian, or Struifvogelspel. And there it is, you use a duck, and the duck has the sharp beak. It's rather weird, it's tied on the end of a line. It's a bit peculiar. You swing the bird round on a cord until the beak gets stuck in the board.
That'd be a good thing for a murder in Midsummer Murders.
Wouldn't it? Actually, that would be brilliant.
That's a good plot there.
Yeah.
Is that the dartboard?
Yeah, we can see the back of it. You swing that round, and wherever the duck's beak lands
She doesn't want to play. He's making her play.
Yeah, there was a betting game in pubs, which was rather distressing, called lark singing, which was very popular in Britain, but also particularly on the continent. And the one whose larks stopped singing last won all the money. And there was this terrible belief that if you blinded the lark, it would sing more. And there was a campaign to stop the blinding of larks, which was led by World War I blinded veterans.
And some larks.
Which is where they knew that being blind wasn't a lark, exactly. Yeah. But that was, unfortunately, a popular sport. Humanity has often been very cruel.
There's a lot of, I don't know why this reminds me of it, but there was an old variety act. Used to have a dancing duck on his piano. And he'd play the piano, an upright piano, and there'd be a duck that would just dance, and he'd just play a tune, and the duck would dance. And then they worked out he had a hot plate in the top of the piano, and it was triggered by him playing the thing. So when he started playing it, it heated up, and then the duck would have to sort of...
Oh, that is awful.
Yes, yeah. And there's a magician who's still working, I think, in Spain, who does a trick where there's a goldfish tank on top of a load of face-up cards.
Yeah.
And he forces a card on you, and then his goldfish selects your card by swimming to it. And he's basically sewn a little magnet into the goldfish, and he moves his knees under the table and directs it to it.
Lord.
Yeah, I know. The entertainment world is cruel with animals.
It is, isn't it? Anyway, the fact is the rules of milking Cromwell are lost forever, but it doesn't matter because we're not allowed to play it anyway.